Hello, my name's Mark. I'm from the Orem Public Library, and I'm going to tell you about a few great books. If you could become smarter just by eating jelly beans, would you do that? Well, in this book, The Smartest Kid in the Universe by Grabenstein, Jake does just that. Jake McQuaid notices some jelly beans as he's waiting for his mom at her work, and he and his sister are very hungry, so he decides that he's going to eat some jelly beans. Well, that's what he thinks they are. He polishes off the whole jar, and that night something very unusual happened to him. He wakes up and he is the smartest kid in the universe. Those jelly beans weren't jelly beans. They were ingestible knowledge pills invented by a scientist. And when you eat the jelly beans, you become smarter. Wouldn't that be great, just to eat something and become smarter? I would do that in a heartbeat. Well, this book has a lot of elements to it. There's mystery, there's suspense, there's pirates, there's treasures, there's a knowledge bowl, there's middle school, there's a school, there's an evil principal, and it's just an adventure, one right after the other. Now, the school is a middle school, and it's right on the land where some pirates have hidden some fantastic treasure. Do they find the treasure? You're going to have to read the book to find out. Well, Jake had an amazing brain in The Smartest Kid in the Universe, and I wanted to know a little more about brains. And so I picked up a book that combines two of my favorite things, science and comic books. This is called a series called the Science Comics. Well, this one is called The Brain, the Ultimate Thinking Machine. And as I read this, I realized that not only was I getting a great story, but I was learning something about the brain. In this science comic about the brain, two sisters are selling woodland adventure cookies door to door. As one sister knocks on the door, suddenly, boom, she falls down into the cellar. And she's encountering very suspicious-looking characters. One is Dr. Cerebrum, and he doesn't want much from her. He doesn't really want to buy her cookies, but he does want her brain. Well, you can imagine how scary that would be. And so he proceeds to tell her why he wants her brain and what brains are all about. And so she does learn quite a bit. You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll wonder why, and you'll find out all about the brain. Check out the others in the series of science comics about sharks, dinosaurs, the plague. You'll have fun reading about the comics and then understanding and learning new facts. Well, after I finished reading The Smartest Kid in the Universe and was reading a bit about the brain in those science comics, I realized that you just can't eat jelly beans to get smart. You need to fill your brain with knowledge in order for it to come out here. Now, Jake was always telling interesting facts about this and that and the history of things. And so I thought I would like to read a book that would tell me some interesting facts of this and that I could share with people, or just some fun facts that I might enjoy reading about myself. And so this title intrigued me. The title of this book is What Breathes Through Its Butt? Mind-Blowing Science Questions Answered by Dr. Emily Grossman. When Emily was a child, she always asked questions of her parents. It drove them bonkers, but she always enjoyed those moments when her questions were answered. This book is full of 30 unusual and interesting questions, each with 4 possible answers. The question of this book, What Breathes Through Its Butt, has 4 different possibilities. Could it be a turtle, a frog, a dolphin, or a pufferfish? With each of those questions, the author gives us reasons why it could be and why it couldn't be one of those different answers. Another question is, what's the strongest bone in the body? Is it your jawbone, your hip bone, your thigh bone, or the little bones in your toes? Or how about if you were to take a pencil and take that lead pencil and draw as far as you could get, how far would that pencil go before it all ran out of lead? Would it be to the nearest market, to the end of your street? Could it be to Mexico? Which, if you lived in Mexico, that probably wouldn't be the answer. Or could you take that pencil and go around the world a couple times? It'll answer that question, along with other questions. How long is the longest day on one of the planets? An unusual question was, how much does the entire internet weigh? I never even had that question. You'll find some other pretty gross and interesting questions. Not gross, just interesting questions in Dr. Emily Grossman's book, What Breathes Through Its Butt. In our first book, The Smartest Kid in the Universe, Jake, with the help of his best friend, solve a mystery. One of his friends, Kojo, enjoys watching vintage television detective shows. And one of his favorite detectives is Kojak. Who loves you, baby? You older ones might know that reference. Well, in this last book, there are a couple of very serious detectives, too. It's a graphic novel, and it's a series called Investigators. And the two detectives are alligators. In this book, investigators take the plunge by John Patrick Green. These two alligators, do they live in the sewer? You'll have to read. Solve a mystery. The pictures are colorful. They're all colored. There are puns, there's excitement, there's humor, and there's mystery and intrigue. What's happening to the people in this town? The plumber, who is unclogging drains with his plumber's snake, finds that he is combined with that and his hand becomes a snake. A scientist grows 2 bananas for hands, and a crocodile is combined with a cracker and becomes a crocodile. Who could be causing all of these problems? Could it be the ghost robot? You'll have to read and enjoy those investigator graphic comic books. Lots of fun. Well, that about does it for us today. I want you to check out some of these books, and they're all brainy books, so I'm certain that you'll be a little smarter after you've read these books than you were before. I think it's time for me to relax with another book and perhaps eat some of these ingestible knowledge pills. They're jelly beans. And do they taste good. Thanks for joining me. I think I'll read a bit more about the smartest kid in the universe.